All right. And we're back like Cairo Pratt. Bull spit.
Yep.
What's the update on the game, Kristen?
It is 116 to 99, and there are 6 minutes and 34 seconds left in the fourth.
Not looking good for your Chicago Bulls.
Celtics have the ball coming out of the timeout after Vooch hit a shot. He has 22. But the thing is, he had 20 in the first half.
I'm about to say at halftime in the F20.
Yeah. So
he did the old Luke Longley.
Or let's see. So he's 10 of 16. So he's only missed 4 shots. So it's almost as if they're not giving him the ball. It's like last year.
Well, that sounds about right.
Because it's not like he's missed that many shots. Only 6 compared to DeRozan's 10. Kobe's missed 10. So DeRozan has 19. White right now is 18. Drummond 11. Io 12.
We're just looking at a team that just is not good enough.
No.
They don't have enough weapons. They do not have the horses.
Yeah, and they just aren't consistent.
Cannot be consistent when you don't have the right players.
Yeah.
Because like, you're relying on Io.
That's what I was about to say. They have, if Zach were back, or if they have 4 legitimate 20-plus scorers now with Kobe's.
With Kobe.
But then after that, there's maybe if Io's hot, maybe if Alex is hot. After those 4, there's a bunch of maybes, could be's.
There's a lot of maybes.
Yeah. And so that's a big problem. The bench is not really that good anymore. I mean, besides really Andre Drummond. And, when did we ever used to say that? Yeah. He's pretty much your most consistent scorer. And then Torrey Craig, but he can't stay healthy now. He got hurt on his off time.
Which is a damn shame.
And it's 122 to 101 with 5:45 left in the game. Right now the Bulls are going basket for basket, which you can't do. What? Dalen Terry just made a good play, and he was in control.
Really?
Yeah.
Looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Yes, he came in for the rebound, and it was a good play. Under control, not all over somebody's back.
I like to see that from Dalen.
Yeah, good job. So, yeah, it's a lot of the same. They were down by 16 at one point, and then they got it together and took the lead. But as always, you have to fight so hard
to come back.
Yeah, they're down by 17, and they're playing okay, but you can't go basket for basket.
So that's going to keep you down by 17.
Right. And at this point, you're worn out. You don't even have enough energy to play good defense every time down.
No.
And now your legs are tired, so your shots start to look flatter and flatter. So they just can't keep playing this way.
Yeah, it's just not sustainable.
Mm-mm.
I mean, not that you want them to sustain this because it's not good, but right. But I mean, like, starting out flat and always having to come back from 15, 16, 17, like that just wears on you night after night. And that's what you see from this team. No matter who they play, they always fall far behind at some point, usually the start of the game and usually the start of the second half.
Yep. And, they put up the fight. So, I mean, that's great. They're a fighting team, but that fight, every once in a while, it can
wins them a game here and there.
Yeah, against a good team, that fight can really help them win against bad teams because by the time they get the fight, then the other team just isn't good enough, and now all of a sudden, now Vooch is missing all the shots.
Yes. I just saw that.
Just when I said he was doing well, maybe I'm the jinx. Maybe
Well, he's probably tired. The shot's flat, not falling.
Yeah.
You know.
I just you know, and then now people are saying, all right, so we at this point they're playing for the 7th to 10th spot. Play in.
Correct.
They had to go on quite the run, and some teams will have to be really bad. They're 4 behind to get into the 6th seed, and they're behind the Heat, the Magic, and then they're all fighting to get up there where the Pacers are. So the chances are pretty
slim.
So now are we? I can hear myself for some reason. So now are we just playing for the play-in and then watching the younger guys continue to blossom? But then who are those younger guys? Like you know, we know Kobe. We know we figure Kobe's staying where he is. Even if there's a little regression, it won't be bad.
Right.
Ayo, hopefully 12 to 16 points when he's in there. What are we watching from Dalen? Really?
Not expecting much.
I mean, I guess I'd want to see more Julian Phillips.
There's people still waiting on Patrick Williams.
Right. And he hasn't even started running.
Yeah.
So clearly that injury is way worse than what they thought. And I'm gonna need everybody to look at their shoes. Why is everyone having feet problems?
True.
Feet and ankles. Now, if you ask Kendall Gill, it's because they wear the low tops. But Kobe Bryant did his research with soccer, and no one was messing up their ankles. But I don't know. Feet and ankles seem to be an issue in this league.
Yeah, absolutely.
124 to 105, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. So, as Hawk would say, this game is over.
Over.
So, yeah, so it's like, what are we watching? What are we really looking for? We are just saying, do we want to, I mean, at this point, do you now just plan to let Kobe take the final shots now to get him used to that? Like, are we just now planning for the future? Game planning for what it could be like in the future? Just trying to get to 500, but then it's like, granted, I want to see playoff basketball. So if they get in the play-in, anything can happen. It's just one game. So for the Bulls, they could actually win that one game. So I'd rather see some sort of playoff basketball than nothing. But then once they're finally out, which they will be out at some point in the playoffs, then what? So,
I think AK. Oh, there's the big redhead fella. He's getting in the game.
So they finally they put folks on the bench because
he's not as big as I thought he was.
Let's see, is that Terry Taylor in the game? And then the one guy that we've been asking for because he's supposedly a sharp shooter, and if you need 3-point shooting, why
haven't we seen him a little bit sooner?
Yeah. Just like with the Twin Towers type of lineup, at this point, can it hurt?
It cannot.
So, you know, we've been watching Dalen Terry flop around for 2 years. We can watch a new person flop around, take bad shots, miss bad shots. We've been letting Dalen Terry do it for 2 years.
Just pitiful.
I still think, in my personal opinion, and I can't wait till we have a few guests coming on later on in March to ask them. Hopefully they'll be able to actually answer. I still don't think we have the coach, no matter who's on this team.
This is true. I agree with that.
So
I agree with that.
we're watching people develop, but I don't think that this should be the coach for the future. Whether you have DeMar back or not.
So,
someone new.
When was the secret extension signed?
Was it before last year or the year before? Let's see.
I can't remember.
Let me see. Let's look. Because this Bulls game is over. Billy Donovan, secret extension. I stunned in a decision that stunned the Bulls fan base. AK extended him in, this isn't from March's. This article is in, okay, it was in 2020. He got the extension for the 2022-2023 season. Plenty of people saying this was weird business.
So is this the first or second year of that extension?
This would be the second. Wait, let me see when it goes. Let me see when it goes until. Yeah, he had 2 years left on his contract. Don't you hate it? It's like when you see recipes and you got to read like a whole
bunch of crap before you get.
I'm so glad they finally added that jump to recipe.
I know. I don't want to hear read an article about the thing. I just want to make it.
Care about your grannies.
Right.
I don't care about any of that. I just want to know how many eggs go in this recipe. And this is the same thing. I can't find it. Let me see. Billy Donovan contract. Donovan contract. From the start of the season. Runs through. Before the start of the season, signed a multi-year contract extension. Is currently in the third season of a 4-year, which runs through that he signed in 2020. 2020 is off to so is next year his last year? That was really It says it has to be. He must have 2 more years.
Yeah.
But a couple of things are saying
in November of 22, he was in the third year of a 4-year contract. So 22, 23, he was in the third season. 23, 24 this year would have been his last season, but they gave him 3 extra years. So does that mean the first of the 3 extra years don't kick in until next year?
I need somebody to find this, because all the stuff.
I think so.
All of these stories is so confusing. This is one time I should have paid attention to something Joe Cowley said, because he always talks about this, or he used to. So, yeah, next year can't be his last year, but
no, I believe next year is his first year.
First year on that.
3 more of first of 3 years.
That's awful.
I think
that's awful.
If it's not the first of the 3 years, it's at most the second of 3 years. I'm pretty sure it's the first of 3 years.
That's awful.
I mean, he still had 2 full years left on his contract,
and
before they gave him extension.
And so nothing against this guy. Nothing against him. Seems like
I
a
think there's
wonderful
something
man.
against hthem.
No,
A little bit against them.
I mean, seems like he's a wonderful guy, but that's too long.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, that's too much time. That's too much time. That's too much time.
Yeah, like
Even if he had 2 more years, that's too much time.
that's still too much time.
This should be it.
Yeah.
This team basically has the exact same record as last year. So what has he done to improve anything?
Nothing.
Kobe White developed himself. DeSumo regressed last year. He went and worked out, and he's developed himself. Dalen Terry walks around with like a chicken with his head cut off. And then the other guys.
And the other guys just stink.
He wants to play this offense as not suited to the players he has on the floor.
Well, that sounds familiar in Chicago sports.
Oh my gosh, over and over and over again. What is wrong with coaches in this city?
They get hired to be more than what they need to be.
Right. You don't.
I don't think the owners know what a good coach is supposed to do.
But there have been good coaches in this city.
Yeah, Tibbs was a good coach.
Yes.
They fired him. Lovey was a good coach. Fired him.
And even when we say
fired
good
both of them for lesser coaches.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And years of trash.
Years of Fred Hoiberg.
Oh my God.
Was that it? Was that
Fred Hoiberg? Fred Hoiberg, yeah, because he got the job right after. They were courting him while Tibbs was still here. And then after him,
why would Fred Hoiberg need courting?
Right. Then after him was the terrible Jim Boylan.
Oh my God, that's right.
And that's who Zach and Laurie, that was their first coach. And they were all like, what in the hell is this? Remember Fred Hoiberg, Jimmy Butler had zero respect for Fred Hoiberg.
Right. And then they chose Hoiberg over Jimmy by trading Jimmy.
Yes.
And then wound up firing Fred anyways.
Yes. And then instead of, once again, bringing in someone different, you chose Jim Boylan. And then he got fired. Then you brought in Billy Donovan. Okay, better pedigree. All right, let's see.
Somebody from outside the organization.
Right. And it was you know, it was all right. But now the longer you're watching it and his refusal to play to his players, to coach to his players' strength, it's not, I don't care how big of a run Ayo has had with threes, how hot Alex Caruso was with his threes when they went on that run for a while, when Zach got hurt and they were playing all right.
And everybody thought the Bulls had solved their problems because of an injured Zach LaVine.
Yeah. They thought losing 20 points a game was problem solved. And ridiculous. They did play better, but that's because people started hitting threes. The only way to be successful in what Billy Donovan wants to run, you have to hit threes. And that's still not this team. It's not.
So once again, there is a disconnect between the coach and management. Like management and ownership is not getting him the players he needs to run his offense.
And then
I'll give him that.
That's true. What can he? He's already told you he's not going to change his offense.
Right.
So this. You got to bring in players to do it. Instead, they want to get rid of one of their better 3-point shooters. Not this year. I know this year has been relatively garbage for Zach LaVine. Then they want to keep all the people who can't shoot.
Correct.
So that's not going to work.
And they
They want
signed Io to 3 years.
3 years. And we all know that good time 3-point IO is going to come to a screeching halt.
Absolutely.
He might be able to get you 1 or 2 a game, but that 5 for 5.
But that's after missing 3 or 4 too. 5, 6.
They're hitting 5 per game. That wasn't gonna last.
No.
That's not him. He's an occasional 3 drive to the basket, mid-range game, and all that's fine. If you run an offense that does that, I know 3 is more than 2, but 0 is less than all of it.
Yeah.
You miss your 3 long rebound, you have nothing.
Because you got nobody to rebound still.
Especially long rebounds. The Drummond and Vooch are under the basket. The long rebounds, where are your guards? Somebody. Where's a forward? Somebody get that long rebound.
Patrick Williams. Where you at?
And the fact that they're considering, well, now they almost have to sign him because now they're going to lose him for nothing.
Yeah.
You held on to him like he was some sort of gem. I like Patrick. They're such a nice team, and that's part of their problem as well. That's why they get beat up so bad.
Part of the problem.
But who knows when Patrick Williams? He's probably at least 2 to 3 weeks away if he hasn't even started running.
And how much is he really going to help even when he comes back?
He's going to give you the same 6 that Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips give you.
Yep.
Every blue moon, he'll have that game, and Stacey King's going to tell you, see, this guy's arrived. Okay, arrived where?
Arrived where? To the back of the bus.
So, but who expected them to win this game? Really? Did anyone really expect them to beat the?
No. Boston, probably the best team in the East, arguably one of the best teams in the league, so I mean.
And the Bulls, arguably one of the most mid.
The worst. Yeah, I mean, they're just extra mid.
Yeah, as the kids say. They're real mid.
Very mid. Very mid, like lower part of mid.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Torrey Craig's out won't be reevaluated for 2 to 3 weeks. So then let's say if it's 3 weeks, now you got another week of him ramping up. So another month.
Over.
He's what?
And then the season ends. Like we're almost at March here. So what are we talking about?
It's nice. Should you just sit down and get healthy for next year at this point?
Shut down at this point?
Yeah. I mean, just let Julian, and at this point, just let Julian Phillips play. And Terry Taylor and that other guy, Adama, whatever, Adam. See, that's how often he even gets in the game. I can't even think of his name.
Yeah, why would you know his name?
He's a big body. I'm sure he can get a rebound sometimes too.
If you gave him a shot, Billy.
You're worn down DeMar. Kobe has a bad hand, ankle, and tired. Vooch is tired. And Vooch. Yeah.
Well, so the final on that game. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you want the final of the game? I said it's real gloom and doom here.
Final 129 to 112. Bulls drop to
4 games under. They're 4 games under 500 now.
Cannot crack that 500 mark.
26-30 maybe.
They can't do it.
Yeah.
Just not good.
They always take a step forward and 2 back.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bulls are only one game back, and then 3 games later,
And they
well, the
lose
Bulls.
3 straight games, 26-30.
Yeah. I mean, which considering what they looked at the beginning of the year, it's
I mean,
almost
there
shocking.
was a time where you thought that they were worse than they were
Mhm.
last year, but
I mean, it's still not good. It's still
and
not good for the third largest market.
it's very poor.
Yeah. And that they didn't do anything to improve the team. Once Zach was hurt,
Off season didn't do anything to
yeah,
improve.
they didn't pivot
Trade
from,
deadline.
like, once you saw he was hurt, and maybe nobody was wanting him because he was hurting his salary. They never really pivoted from Zach to see who else they could get something for to add to this team.
Well, you know what? When you're leading the league in attendance
Yeah.
and merchandising and concessions that come with that, because motherfuckers is eating at these games. Like, it's Chicago, so
Yeah,
they're eating,
the food, and it's gonna be good.
and the food's gonna be good.
And see, they always, that why they also get away with it, because, well, it hasn't been cold lately, but normally it's during the winter, so you find something to do indoors.
Had a mild winter, and it's the perfect time of year to go to a game. It's indoors,
Yeah, because you want something to do with the kids, yourself, your dates. Hey, go be entertained, eat, drink.
What I'm looking at most of the time is not entertaining.
Stacey King's entertaining.
Yeah, he is.
Except when he starts to get mad.
I mean,
when they win that rotation, and when he's always talking about they really got to stop that switch. Well, who doesn't make it stop? I don't pretend to know everything about basketball.
Right.
But if Stacey, Adam, etc., keep saying stop with the switching, why won't anyone stop with the switching?
I mean, Billy.
So then that brings us back to our other conversation.
Yeah, full circle.
Someone isn't right to be the coach here.
Yeah,
but we're stuck because
we are stuck
because they're not going to let him go and pay his salary and someone else's salary.
Right. Not yet.
Unless you get a job right away, you're on the hook for the rest of his salary.
And AK said it. He's like, we're trying to compete. We're just putting asses in seats. We're not trying to win anything.
And then it's okay to compete, but you got to get pieces.
I mean, they got pieces.
Okay, I'm sorry. Better.
I mean, technically speaking.
Okay, so let me ask you this, GM Bucks. Looking at the team that's on the court right now, taking out Craig and Zach because they're hurt, who would you replace to add to the team? Who would you have looked to let go and try to add?
For this year or moving forward?
Okay, if you wanted to compete this year. I'm sorry, no, because competing is what you have. Okay, let's go with moving forward. To not just compete, but to get into at least the top 5 in the league, in their conference or whatever.
They're not even set up for, if I'm GM, I'm ready to step down, first of all.
You gave up.
I've got one foot out of the door and I'm ready to first things first. But because they're not even set up to like have addition by subtraction.
True.
Like give up somebody of some kind of value to make yourself better. Like who would they
Yeah.
give up? Because like DeMar, who is only under contract through the end of the year, well, somebody who's really competing will be willing to pick up a DeMar DeRozan, but they don't have anything to give up. What are they willing to give up? That's going to make us better.
True.
Like they don't have it. Like if they're good enough that they're trying to compete, they don't have a good lottery pick unless like
that's true.
Yeah, like I'm like really stuck. Like,
and I guess at this point, whomever you would replace it would just almost kind of be even.
Yeah, like how would you get better? Like there's nothing, they don't have much of any, I mean, Caruso, but then what do you get in return that now makes you better after losing Caruso?
That's true. And then
like you're not gonna get a great two-way player just
No.
for Caruso or for Caruso and Io or Caruso and Pat Williams. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get
the best offer you were gonna get is if it was Caruso and Zach or that was going to, but then like you said, you're really just getting young talent that's probably not even ready. And then when
that you're hoping can become like, oh, who knew that this player would turn into like,
they don't need any more suspects. Maybes, hope so's. We got enough maybes, so's.
All we got.
Could be's.
All we've drafted. Maybes and hope so's and could be's.
And we get hopefully a surprise.
Because I mean, even the strides Kobe has made, I mean, he ain't like he ain't it either, you know.
And it's his fourth year, right?
Yeah.
And isn't that crazy how they're trying to turn him like he's about to be some superstar? No.
Like
he's still going to be.
You're selling us
If you were really to build this team, he's going to be your third option.
Your third option.
He's not your first and not your second.
Not even your second.
No. The way he's
the third best player on your team.
And if you do it right, he should really wind up being your fourth.
Really?
The way you need to be now, having 4 people who could score 20 plus per game, but then you need that bench to come in and give you more than 10 per game.
And if he's
and then they were letting Luke Cornett just dunk on him, boy.
What happened?
Former Bull, they were just letting
Luke Cornett.
He was having them so good all the time.
I know, but it was whatever the hell that was.
He just rebounding, dunking. Well, not saying he was great, but they didn't even use him right when he was here with the Bulls.
No, they didn't.
What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this city and our teams?
It's poor ownership
all around. Like,
and it doesn't help that one owner owns 2 of the teams.
Yeah, and you're looking at, and then he has the nerve to cry poor and want this damn $1 billion
for a new stadium.
I almost called him a name.
Go ahead. You should.
It was something we were just talking about with the teams in this city, and the Blackhawks. Okay, they have this superstar already. He's already considered a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero faith that they will build around him soon enough to take advantage of his superstardom.
You don't think they will?
Like they did with Kane and Taze.
Mm-hmm.
So they say his name, yeah. I just don't have faith because it's a Chicago team.
Right.
They have that lightning strikes where, oh, wait, hey, we're doing it. Let's get all these championship Blackhawks. Hey, Sox, 05. We thought maybe we built a good team the other couple of years ago. And then the Cubs, oh, okay. And then after that, our teams just don't build around correctly against. Look at when the Bulls had Derrick Rose. All he needed was a damn shooting guard.
You
They
couldn't
gave it to
find
Keith
one
Bogan,
decent shooting guard.
Keith Bogans, and Rip Hamilton. That's what you did.
Yeah.
You had a superstar. You had a great surrounding cast. All you needed was a shooting guard. Never could find it.
And that
And I
window
don't
was
care
just
that Derek said he was rolling with Keith Bogus. What's he gonna say? Like, hey, please replace this fool.
right,
Like,
right. It was such a small window.
and I don't think ownership understands how small windows are. Like,
Yeah.
I remember when we were talking about the Sox years ago, how they were on the rise. And some people thought that their window was going to be open for such a long time. And I was like, did you not learn anything from just watching the
The
Cubs?
Cubs.
That window closes quick.
Very quick.
You have to strike when it's right there. And that's why after 2015, they did hurry up and get some pieces. But then they never replenished pieces after that. And then the window
shut on them.
And then the Sox, they instead of getting the piece they needed, which was a good coach, manager, they went the complete opposite and got a manager that made the culture, the players, the everything go down. And Tony La Russa. And they never recovered.
This is all sad and pitiful.
Now let's move on to the Bears.
Before we
no. I was just going on with how they don't build around.
Oh, but yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean,
yeah, just like every team, you can do it for every team. There's a small window, and we just don't take advantage of it. And then ownership looks crazy when it closes so fast. Okay, go ahead. What was your question?
I don't know. I can't remember. It wasn't important.
Start playing the drinking game on this.
I know. I don't have any drinks.
Neither. I'll ask Dr. Pepper.
So just to pivot a little bit, still talking Bulls, the latest and more Bulls spit is somebody's going on tour.
Oh my.
One Mr. Scott Maurice Pippen, Horace Grant, and Luke Longley are along for the ride. Like Luke and Horace didn't even play together. I Hate MJ tour 24.
When you hear the preview, that BS document, that bullshit documentary, that's what Horace says. Horace, you win nothing without stars around you.
Absolutely.
Nothing. Now, maybe he mistreated you sometimes, maybe, all that. And you're not even going to tell anyone that they don't already know, we don't already know. He wasn't the nicest guy, and he didn't care that he wasn't the nicest guy.
We already got all that now.
He said it himself in his documentary. And Scotty, you did sit out 1.8 seconds or whatever the thing was. You did it. And you said you don't regret it.
Said you do it again.
Exactly. You had an opportunity. Why did you think it wasn't going to be brought up? That's part of Bulls history. That's part of your history.
Part of your history, sir.
You
a big
did
part.
It.
A big stain on your history.
That you chose to do.
And what does that have to do with Jordan? Jordan wasn't even there when you did that.
He wasn't there. And mad that he put it in his documentary. And then Jordan apologized to Scottie Pippen about how he felt. And then Luke Longley, because you weren't in it.
And Jordan did the interview for Luke's thing for Australian TV.
I was like, do you all need money? And the tour is starting in Australia. You all are that bitter, that petty.
Evidently.
And like I said, they're still making money off of Jordan.
Still,
Jordan is still helping their careers.
Yep. Because you're making money now off of just talking about him.
About him, yes.
That's just
People are actually going to buy tickets as if this is some comedy show.
Like it's a TED Talk or something.
Right, to listen to you badmouth Jordan, maybe say one thing good every blue moon. But basically, you're on there to dispute anything that was said, badmouth them, tell your side of whatever the story is, say maybe how bad of a person he was and Scotty was a better teammate. We already know that.
We already know that. We get it.
Already know that everyone really likes Scotty better as the teammate as far as bringing the team together, and Scotty wasn't a maniac.
Right. But the maniac got you the rings.
Yes. And the maniac said, without Scotty, there's none of this. So the maniac has always given Scotty his just due.
So Scotty can't give the maniac his just due.
But then Scotty did it in his Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah, Jordan brought him in, right?
Yeah, and he thanked him. It's like, what are, besides money and getting your story out, you all really do this in a tour?
It is pathetic. And it is such a Bulls thing to do.
Yes.
I mean, now you're staining the championship years.
Yes. Yes.
If there isn't already enough stain on this organization, now you're trying to taint and stain the greatest part of this organization.
Right. The thing that they still hang their hat on. It's like the 85 Bears. Everything is still about
the 85 Bears and the 90s Bulls.
Yeah, and the 90s Bulls.
Yeah.
And they're doing this, and it's not going to impact Jordan at all.
No, he's just going to become more popular.
The people who don't like him are still going to not like him.
Right.
The people who like him are still going to
like him.
You're not swaying anybody either way.
And why do you even care to sway anybody?
Yes. And Scotty, if you're mad that your ex-wife is dating his son, then you talk to his son about that.
Right. I heard they broke up.
And now they're trying to work things out, according to Larsa.
Oh, really?
Yes. They realize that they want to be together and they have to work it out.
I don't know why he wants that old lady.
It's like, are you mad?
She looks like an old lady.
Yeah, she's starting to look old. Like, she can't keep doing
all this Botox
more surgeries. I mean, her lips always look like they're about to explode. And she was a pretty girl before she did all this. That's why I didn't understand why she did it. Why she did that to her face. When everyone was posting that picture about showing you at 21, and I know she was 21, but she started doing that still probably in her 30s or whatever. But she didn't even need to do that. All that stuff to her face. Now, if you wanted to fix things on your body, but all that stuff starting to look bad.
I don't know why he wants that old lady.
Yeah, and your lips are so huge, so you can barely talk. Everyone sounds like they have a little lisp because their lips are in the way. Like, it's, I just don't understand.
I don't understand what's happening.
I don't either. And
you're Michael Jordan's son. You could do better.
Man, way better. And now she's dragging you, and maybe she's not. Let me not put all this on her. I guess maybe he needed something to do with his life, so now he's getting on these reality shows, and then he gets mad because everybody asks him about his daddy. Your daddy is the greatest basketball player ever. Yes, they're going to ask you about your daddy, just like they're going to forever ask Larsa about Scotty.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, you got to take the bad with the good. With all of that good that you have from your daddy, you got to.
You have a basketball
It's
story.
tough having to live up to that, and I hear you, but shit.
Yeah, but then you're trying to live a life in the public, you're always going to be in the public eye because of who your father is. But now you're on reality shows and doing all that. So yeah, now you're making you're
putting yourself out there now.
Yeah. And this is Larsa's income. I know she has a jewelry line and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And I'm sure, well, I think most of her kids are almost old enough where Scotty doesn't have to give her anything soon. I think she has one more child.
Did she get a lot of alimony or anything?
I don't know, because didn't Scotty at one point not have that much money? I think at one point he got scammed by somebody, a financial person or whatever.
Oh, really?
A while ago. So, but I'm sure he still had enough money to do stuff. But Larsa has to continue doing reality TV shows.
Right.
It's gonna have to be your thing. They get on a podcast together. But anyway, so that's what part of Scotty's problem. Take that up with them. But some people are like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what they have to say. Why? What do you think they're going to say?
Why?
They have nothing new to say.
Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And who presented this to them? They were like, yeah, this is the way to go.
Well, she obviously took advantage of him, I would think.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the three of them, the No BS tour.
Right.
I'm done with Larsa and Marcus.
I'm
sorry. I went back to the No BS.
Opportunists.
And they were like, yeah.
And they went for it.
And I bet you they're going to try their hardest to get the tour in the United Center.
Oh, absolutely.
I haven't seen the date, so I don't know.
Idiot Bulls fans will sell out. Then go.
Although they better be careful. It might be some of those fans who booed that dead man's wife, which was still a shame. They may not always get the audience they're looking for.
Just another great moment in Chicago Bulls history. I forgot about booing that man's wife. So what a season. What a shit show. What a shit show.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Bulls.
Your Chicago Bulls.
The bullshit show.
Well, in other news, we've got Cubs versus Sox tomorrow and the first day of spring training action.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what or how to feel about either team right now. I'm just so tired of them trying to sell. We're trying to be competitive, but not actually doing anything to be competitive. Like this White Sox got rid of a lot of contracts, but didn't sign anybody. Didn't use the money for what are you doing? Exactly, what are you doing? And then Getz says, well, we have to see what our needs are. I'm like, just call me. I could tell you what your needs are. I mean,
consultant fee, I can tell you.
Yeah, like I can tell you right away what your needs are. They've been the same for like years now.
And so, and you call yourself.
You mean both middle infielders now?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Who is your shortstop? Who is your second baseman? Is Lurie still here? Oh, Nicky Lopez. That's right.
And because I'm pretty sure Elvis is gone.
Yeah. And then they had extra money, but they went like bargain basement shopping. No offense to any of the players who are there, because yes, you can play better than I ever could, but
they're still bargain basement.
Yes, it's bargain. Like they have money, they could have done more.
Jerry, not even paying anybody.
You're gonna waste, just like we already talked about. Okay, you have Luis Roberts. You kept Dylan Cease. You're wasting talent.
You wasted Tim.
Yeah. Like you're wasting prime talent. By the time you're decent, these guys won't be any good.
These guys are going to age out. I mean, and granted, you got a little bit more time usually with baseball, but there's no guarantee. You know what I mean?
Especially
That
in
you
the beer
will.
industry
Yeah, you no
of some of it.
guarantee.
And why wait? Why?
What are we waiting on?
Why
Jerry, you're 89 years old. You're gonna die soon. Don't you want to see one of your teams win again before you die?
stop living off of 05?
Yeah,
19 years ago.
very long time ago.
Yeah, it's not that's a long time ago. And why do our teams have to keep tearing it down? Why can't we just replenish?
Because they get themselves tied up in usually a bunch of bad contracts, unmovable players, to the point where they get pennies on the dollar and they're left with nothing and are kind of forced to rebuild.
I feel that's what the Cubs are doing with this Cody Bellinger. I'd be real mad at Scott Boras right at this point because he has a few of his clients still not signed,
Right.
and spring training games have started. What they're looking for, they're just not going to get. So maybe you bring it down to a 3-year contract, 2 years with the club option for the third, something.
Mm-hmm.
But I need the Cubs to stop acting like they don't have money.
Right.
I need them to stop playing like they couldn't sign this man for a good amount of money,
Right.
or any other man. Somebody, you signed that damn shortstop to the richest Cubs deal ever.
Just like the Sox signed Adam Benintendi to the richest deal ever.
And I liked what's his name?
Dansby.
He's fine. But if he can get it, so can somebody else.
Right.
Because his offense was okay. His defense was great, sure. But they need offense.
Right. Which they were getting from Cody.
Yes. And I know he'll probably regress some. Everybody regresses. Ian Happ wasn't that good. You eventually re-signed him.
Right.
You got that one pitcher. And who else did the Cubs get? Shada, was that it? And Matt Bush, some trade, something with the Dodgers.
I don't know who else they picked up.
Yeah, he was a third baseman or first or whatever. They're getting ready to give Christopher Morel a chance at third.
I've read that.
I don't know who the hell their first baseman is.
Matt Mervis.
Oh, you really so mad. What did they call him? Mashing, whatever.
I don't know. He's getting mashed.
Mashing Matt or Garbage Matt.
That's your first baseman.
It can't be.
Maybe we'll see something better this year. Maybe. I don't know.
On which side? Your side. South side. Until they move to South Loop or whatever.
South Loop.
And taxpayers are on the hook for $1 billion.
Yeah, man. Get out of
While
here.
this billionaire owner and the mayor said everything's on the table. Has to take a look, see how it will benefit Chicago, and talking about jobs, all the jobs. Well, then the taxpayers, we might as well just put some money into a job fund then.
How about that?
You have $1 billion.
I mean, jobs for what, like 9 months out of the year?
Because are they putting a dome on it where there could be concerts throughout the year?
Oh, is that what they're saying?
I don't think so, but that's the only way. I mean, they're going to turn it into an ice skating rink like Wrigley Field in the winter?
Yeah, because they did a hell of a job with that.
Yeah. and they still act poor. Remember when you were younger and you used to kind of halfway be on the owner's side when there were contract disputes?
Yeah,
And
because
now as
the
you're older,
players are being selfish for striking.
yes. Not really thinking about that they're billionaire owners who are arguing over what are pennies to
To
them.
them.
And now that we're older, wiser, and poorer, we understand.
They're
We're
just
not on their side.
they're just bastards.
Yes, greedy bastards.
That's why I'm all for players getting as much money as they can
Take
get.
all their money.
Like, get all of that money.
All. Because they're billionaires and
They
still
got
think
it.
yes, and then they still think they need to charge consumers $100 to get into a lousy game.
Yep.
You gonna charge me all this money to watch your lousy teams? Well, I don't go to any more games, but other people who can afford them, I only go if there's some special ticket because I can't afford that mess. But others who do and try to bring an entire family, I'm spending $300 to watch trash.
Impossible. Yeah, and the team is not good.
Exactly. And I'm not even watching any stars. Yeah. But anyway, there'll be so many more Thursday night baseball rants coming your way.
Oh my God.
We'll be, because since the baseball season, we'll now be doing bull spit plunked. We're gonna have a slash mark between bull spit.
I think I'm gonna make a graphic for that.
It's baseball season too. Welcome to Bull Spit Plunked.
It'll be eventually just plunked.
Yes, right. Where we're here to depress you every Thursday at 9 p.m. Central.
While the teams depress you every day. There's so much baseball, so many games, so much depression.
Remember last year? Oh, it's just like the Bulls, where it started getting harder and harder to talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah. By August, I was like, oh my God.
And then the Cubs had that stretch, like, oh, are they gonna make the playoffs? And then when they were out,
Right, they did have a good stretch.
Because I figured it was over after the first during the first half of the season because they weren't good.
Yeah,
and then they came to life, and then they were the Cubs.
Cubbed it up.
Yeah.
Well, you still do have a new skipper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much difference he can make without new horses or additional horses, I should say. But at least that's something interesting to look forward to. We still have Pedro Grifal, who's trying to convince his team that they could actually make some noise, and they've been given a 0% chance to make the playoffs. Prove them wrong.
What's going to be their theme for the year? Remember, it used to be kids can play, change
the game. Prove them wrong. And
there
then by June,
it'll change to like,
shitter.
So then it will change like, they were right.
They were right. They were right. They were right all along by June.
That'll be the new theme. They were right all along. Cubs will just be psyched. Or fooled you, didn't we?
Well,
with
that being said, we reached that 1 hour mark. I think it's time to say good night.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy that weekend. Get out there. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. Probably
it's gonna be warm again on Sunday.
All right. Well, that's nice.
And then next week there'll be some more 60s.
All right. Maybe we're going upward. Maybe we're staying upward.
Well, you know,
I doubt
it. Yeah, right. You know, there's going to be some snow at some point in March and April. But these have been some nice breaks.
Very necessary breaks.
Yeah, it's going to be 67 with a thunderstorm next Tuesday.
Okay. Well,
but it looks good for a while. Friday, tomorrow's 45, Saturday is going to be 35, but then we jump back up to 54 on Sunday, fun day.
All right.
That's your weather forecast for the weekend.
There you go. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and you have a great weekend. This is Bull Spit, your host, Emilio Bucks, along with. All right. We will see you all in 2 weeks. We are taking next week out. We'll see you in 2 weeks.